Hello guys, it's Josiah here, back again with another video. Now in this video, I'm going to be walking through the one change I made in my agency that helped me literally double my revenue. Now if you don't know who I am, my name is Josiah, help other marketing agencies scale by implementing AI infrastructures in their business so they can go from anywhere between 0 to 10K, 50, 100K, and even scale beyond that, right? I'm scaling my agency all the way up to 7 figures, and I'm just documenting how we go about right now, going to a place that we're booking all the way up to 200 appointments each and every single month without spending any money on ads, right? And being fully removed from both sales and also the appointment center. So if you want to learn how to do that, then stick around because this video is literally going to help you make more money with just one change in your business, right? Now, before I even get into it, I just want to show you the story of what happened. So when we were running as right now, a few months ago, we're doing campaigns, and the campaigns that we're running, we're targeting both US and EU. So we had US clients and as well as EU clients. EU like Germany, France, Romania, the whole of EU, right? And as well as US and from New York, Florida, etc., right? And the main thing about this is we're booking around 100 to 150 appointments, thereabouts, right? And what we found is that we have some weeks that we are closing so many clients, and had other weeks that we had like literally half of the clients that we closed the week before. And I'm like, hey, like, what is going on in terms of like stability? Because one thing I really like about especially marketing and outbound, you can get it consistent if you have the right input, right? The biggest thing that I realized is that I just need to know what the right inputs that will feed it into the system to get the results that we want. So what we've done is during this time is I had also a sales rep that was taking the calls. He came to me saying, Josiah, I love these calls when I'm speaking to the US clients. When I speak to the EU clients, it's very hard to speak to them because some of them don't even understand English, right? And that's one of the big things about the EU, right? We have the eastern part of Europe, Romania, Bulgaria, all these places, right? They speak good English there, but it's not the main language. So the English is not, some people don't really speak English, right? The eastern part of Europe. We got more like Germany, French, the people usually speak good English, but again, it's hit and miss, right? Parts of Italy don't really speak good English. There's other parts of the world that do speak good English, but not all of the parts of the world speak good English or good enough level for it to be in a more business setting, okay? Which made closing very difficult because people couldn't understand, let's say, the objection handling rebuttals or the analogies or things like that, and they had a different way of thinking compared to other people, right? And even in the UK, like the more of the mentality that I see in the UK, me being in Manchester, compared to the US, it was completely different. People in the US just wanted to invest more money, they're more likely to invest into them. And yeah, even though it's more of a competitive market, that's what we were seeing on the course in both qualitative data, but I wanted to see quantitative data. So when we look at the stats. So what I've done I was like, okay, cool. I see the EU, I see what I'm hearing from sales rep, I'm seeing the stats to a degree, but let me look deeper into them. So what I've done is I pulled out 3 months worth of data. On the left side, I had all the EU clients and EU bookings that we had. On the right side, I had all the US clients and all the US bookings that we had. And then these were the stats. So for the EU, I'm going to start first. The closing rate on the EU was on 15 to 17% consistently. The upfront cash collected was 20%, right? And the total cash collected was 50%, okay? Meaning that if you're selling something for 10K, right, you're gonna collect 2K up front and you probably collect 5K throughout the whole lifetime of the client, right? Whereas in the US, we had a 25% closing rate, a 50% upfront cash collected, and an 80% total cash collected, which means upfront, if you're charging 10K, right, to make numbers easier, you're gonna collect 5K upfront, and then for the whole period of time, you can get up to 8K from that single client, right? And you're gonna close more of them with the same amount of calls. So if it was 100 calls, you're gonna close 25 on USA, and if it was 100 calls, you're gonna close 17 in EU, right? So this means that we're making way more money from the US with the same amount of effort, right? And the same amount of calls, because in a space of a month or even a week or a day, you can only take so many calls. So you want to make sure that you're taking the calls that are most likely to close, but on another level, most likely to pay you as much upfront, right? And as well as much as general, okay? Because that's the whole aim of the game, right? So what I've realized is that we're putting the same amount of effort, but one group is giving us twice as much as the other group. So what we're gonna do now, right? And I made a decision, which one of the biggest decisions we've made this year is to just focus on US, right? And cut off EU for the meantime, and then perhaps in the future we could visit it when we want to reopen that boat. But for now, we cut up the US, okay? And what happened was literally mind-boggling, right? And I've never seen just one decision impact my business so much. So the week after, we started closing and started collecting paid in fulls like there was no tomorrow. We literally started collecting pay in fulls, paid in fulls, paid in fulls, paid in fulls, paid in fulls, compared to before, which was more of like payment plans, right? So when we went through that, I was like, oh my God, like, is this even real? Like my closer was closing, he was closing at 33% because he just focused on the place that was bringing in the most money, which of course was the US clients, right? And he's a very British guy, US people have the British accent. And that taught me one of the biggest lessons I've ever heard to this day. It's like, it does matter about quantity, right? But it also matters about quality. So if one guy has 100 bookings, right? But all of them are with broke people that can't speak English, and one guy has 30 bookings with people that can't speak English and can't afford what he's selling, right? The guy with 30 bookings is going to be in a better place because he takes less calls and makes the same, if not more money than the guy with 100 appointments. And that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned while making this big decision. So this allowed me to really double down on where the money came from, right? And actually look for more ways to attract these type of clients, whether that be going up market, going to bigger US clients, and going via that route. And this just made, like, especially for my closer's life, a lot easier, right? Because he was closing deals left, right, and center. We as a business were collecting more cash, and it just made sales a lot easier. So that's why a lot of people try fix their closing rate, try to become bloody Jordan Belfort, like, handle all of these objections, X, Y, Z. And yes, there's a time and place for that. I'm not saying that's wrong. There's 100% a time and place for that, especially starting out on the journey, X, Y, Z. But as more of a business guy, you need to look at where the lead's coming from, where's the money coming from, and be more of a data analyst, right? And a lot of people don't really look at data, don't see the data for what it's telling you. And the best business people that I know always look at data, right? They have data, they understand the metrics, and they're really, really hard on the metrics. So this allowed us to really dive into where the money was coming from, and that's what I want you guys to do as well, okay? Now, I know the USA market is a lot more competitive than the EU market, and not all of you can service them, but me knowing that, when my mentality towards it being competitive just means, hey, we just need to be better, right? And that's a good problem to have. Like, everyone wants to be better. Why wouldn't you put yourself in an environment that forces you to be better, right? Like, imagine joining the army, you're gonna be bloody flipping ripped, you're gonna be strong as hell, because that is the environment that if you're fat, you're not going to be bloody, you're not going to carry on in the army, right? Because all the army people need to be fit, especially the ones in combat, need to be fit, need to be sharp, need to be healthy, because essentially that's what they're there to do. They're there to protect the country. So the same thing here is, like, if you're targeting more competitive marketing, that means you have to be better with your personalization. That means you have to have a better offer. That means you have to be looked at better. That means you have to have a better branding, better content, better lead magnets, better. So then you can attract the best of the best, right? And that's what life is. It's just skating up that ladder and actually just competing and having fun while doing it, right? And I find competing really fun, to be honest, okay? And what I can say here when it comes to everything is, what would that look like for you? And what are some key action takeaways for you? So number one, track your metrics, right? Know where your money is coming from. Who's bringing up this? Which type of clients are paying the most? Why are these clients paying the most, right? What type of channels bringing in the most leads? What type of channels bringing the most quality leads as well, right? It's not always the most. It's always which channel is bringing the quality leads as well. How can I ramp up that channel, right? Which location are all the clients coming from? What are the revenue size of the clients that pay me the full amount that I'm asking for, that I know that I'm worth, right? And then with that, you have to make a decision to focus. And that's one of the biggest decisions. Like, it happened, especially at the start. Like, I train a lot of people coming up. Like, at the start, you have so many niches. I want to go to this niche. I want to do this niche. I want to do that niche. And then you come into the program and say, hey, relax, soldier, relax. Focus on one, maybe two if you're lucky. One, and then just dial it out and just really become the best at it, right? But then again, when you go to the next level, it's like, you have to do it again. But like, now focus on the micro, which is bringing the macro, right? And that level of focusing, cutting other things off and focusing on the things that brought me money, right? I said, no, it didn't bring me what I was looking for. So I have to cut it off and go all into the things that have the most probability to give me exactly what we're looking for. And that goes through all stages. So again, deciding isn't a bad thing. Like, cutting things off isn't a bad thing. It actually gives you more focus to focus on the things that truly matter and the things that actually worth your time. So in this, what is the main thing that's changed? Sell to rich people, basically. That's if I want to put this whole video in one thing, sell to richer people, right? Sell to people that you know are actually going to pay everything in full, and actually find different ways to target them and actually locate them consistently throughout your funnel. So track your data, find out who the rich people are, and just keep selling to them. Okay, so that's it from this video. Now, if you need help finding these rich people and selling to these rich people, something that we do all the time. We help so many clients scale multi 6 figures, 7 figures, and there's a link below if you want help. Just come here, be a slight conversation with myself or my sales team, and then we're going to see how we can help you. But outside of this, just give a subscribe and a like. Just put one there. It would help too much. And yeah, that's all it from this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.